Hello YouTube. Today I want to discuss the term bad genetics with you. I've made a video about genetics and their importance in bodybuilding, and this is not going to be a follow-up of that video because in that video I tried to stay objective, I discussed frames, I discussed muscle insertions. Here I'm just going to tell you what I think about the term bad genetics and what it represents to me because I used the term in my transformation video that you should have seen. So this is going to be something personal. I don't really care if you agree or not. This is my definition. I would also love to hear what you think is bad genetics. But I think it's important that I lay it out so that you understand where I come from when I speak about it and I use such terms on this channel because I'm going to use it a lot. So as opposed as some people, I guess, for me, bad genetics are defined by where you start, not where you end, because I personally believe that there is no end. I don't think that there is a single person on this planet that's natural that has maxed out their genetic limits. It does not exist. There's always a way to grow. There's always certain body parts that can be focused on more. There's always something that can be done. And I think that telling yourself that you maxed out your natural potential is extremely arrogant. Like you think you somehow topped off nature, that you managed to find a perfect combo of diet and exercise, that you checkmate your own body, that your body is like, wow, that guy is too much, I can't grow anymore. You don't have this ability. Sorry to break the bubble of some people who find it comfortable to tell themselves that they're done. You're not done. You're just either lazy or you don't want to do more research to keep advancing naturally. But to go back on what bad genetic is, for me it's what happens at the start. Where do you start? Because there are some people who start very far. I knew some people back in middle school, high school, who were 13, 14, who had ripped six packs, who had bicep veins, were muscular, didn't do a push-up in their life, and they were dwarfing me into infinity. I think that those people had good genetics. Why? They started better than I did. I personally say I have bad genetics because the place where I started was the bottom of the physique's barrel. If you go back to the transformation video, disregard the pictures of when I'm 15, because even though I was going through puberty, I wasn't done with it. Look at the pictures when I'm 18. I'm done with puberty, my hormones are pretty much stabilized, more or less. I'm done growing. I'm still a stick. And I was working out a ton back in the days. I was 140 pounds. That's where I started. I started at that level, which means it took me a long time to get to where I am, where I consider I have a pretty good level. A person with good genetics could get there in half the time. That's what having good genetics means. But some people seem to take offense to that, which I find so strange, where it's that weird, it's basically Schrodinger's bodybuilder. If you've learned or heard about Schrodinger's cat, it's either dead or alive, but it's in a state of limbo in between until you open the box to check. I'm sort of in that state where if I had never worked out in my life, people would have told me that it's because I'm small because I never tried. But now that I tried and I made it and I went from skinny to buff, then suddenly they flipped the script and it was because I had good genetics from the start. I mean, there's no winning in it for me. Those people always find a way to take your accomplishments away from you, or a way or the other, because it's either, oh, well, you got big, but it's because you had good genetics from the start, or those same people, if I manage to find a way to prove they're wrong, will tell me, oh, well, you're not actually that big, so you didn't make it. There's no winning there, but I think it's important I put that topic on the table now, because it's going to come back, and I especially want young men or people who are just getting started on this channel to be able to reject those tactics and those attacks and to not worry about it, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter. What matters is that you do something. It's that you actually start and work out. Because whether you have good genetics or bad genetics, if you don't do anything, it doesn't matter. So start. Even if you're the most skeletal being I've ever seen in my life and you think you can never get bigger, start. You never know how far you can go, and just keep going, keep training. Don't let people tell you what your limits are, because they'll always tell you that it's either that you're not good enough, so why start in the first place? And then when you'll make it, it was because you were always good to start with. It's a whole mess. And at the end of the day, it's not doing anything for you. So believe in yourself, work, disregard genetics. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to try and make a living out of it. And just keep grinding, right? There are certain topics where I agree genetics are important, like injury prevention, certain types of diet. But when it comes to reaching your absolute potential, it's completely irrelevant, because whether you have bad or good genetics, you're gonna work regardless. So if someone was able to poke you with a stick, and on the stick would be a number giving you your genetics level, if it was a low number, would you just sit on the couch and do nothing? I don't understand that logic. When I started, I was told by everyone I had bad genetics, that I was wasting my time. It didn't stop me, and look where I am now. So I can't wrap my head around people like that, who will not do something because other people tell them not to. Like, think for yourself and fight for yourself. In 5 years, you will regret not having started now. So I'm going on a rant, I'm going a little bit off topic, but that's pretty much how I define bad genetics and how it will keep being defined on this channel. It's going to be something that I'm not going to really take into consideration, because I don't think it's that important, or at least not for natural bodybuilding, as long as you're willing to put in the work. So that's it for the video. Hope it was informative. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have a good day.